Our vision. We see the church at Unbroken Covenant livestream as a dynamic spirit-filled, multicultural, multi-generational church. Numbering in the thousands, people from all walks of life, all around the world, taking the good news of Jesus Christ outside the four walls of the local church.
It's your generous donations that empower us to spread the good news. When you give, you make it possible for people all around the world to have access to uncompromised truth that can change lives. By giving, you enable Pastor Tommy to teach them how to know and grow in Christ's truth, just as you have. This is a nonprofit ministry that believes in evangelism. Let me encourage you to consider becoming a covenant partner by giving a monthly gift in the amount of your choice. Here's the number to call if you're watching or listening in the United States. It's 800-717-9569 extension 801. And you can also give online at unbrokencovenant.org/give today. Or you can mail a check to Unbroken Covenant, P.O. Box 323, Cedartown, Georgia 30125. Thank you for your continued support. Back to Pastor Tommy Pope Sr.
In appreciation for being a covenant partner, we'll send you one of Pastor Tommy's most popular CDs. 8 Ways to be Blessed by God Volume 1 has been a favorite for years, combining Pastor Tommy's insightful teaching with some of his most humorous stories and anecdotes, and Volume 1 is the latest in the series. You'll also receive an Unbroken Covenant journal and pen set, perfect for taking notes on our live stream Bible studies, or for keeping a personal diary of what God is doing in the life of you and your family through the live stream church. Have you ever wondered? What's my purpose? Today on Walking Through Fire, Pastor Tommy will help you recognize your true purpose and notice the true calling in your life. Jehovah has a purpose and plans he's unfolding little by little each and every day until it comes to completion. As people, we don't understand God's process of salvation. We tend to get in God's way and slow the process down. And in some cases, the devil uses us to stop God's method of salvation in an individual's life. Here's Pastor Tommy with his message. What's my purpose?
Hello, I'd like to welcome you today to Walking Through Fire. I'm Pastor Tommy, and I am the senior pastor here at Unbroken Covenant Church. And our objective is Matthew chapter 22, verses 37. We are to love the Lord thou God with all of our heart, with all of our soul, and with all of our mind. And we are to love you and others all around the world. And we are called to make disciples. I would like to thank you for joining us today. We're going to have a great time today, but I want you to know I'm just so grateful to be back. You know, this is my first appearing in the new year in 23. You know, we had the pleasure to go to a church, and we live streamed a concert, and we played part 1 and part 2, you know, right after the new year. So this is my first appearing on Walking Through Fire since the new year come in. And I'm just so grateful and so thankful to be back today. I feel good, feel back at home again. Well, today we're going to have a great subject today. And I want you to say it the way I said. I said, what's my purpose? But when you repeat that, you're going to be saying, what's your purpose? So, you know, I want you to, we're going to have a great time, and we're going to lay this thing out today, and you're going to understand a lot that's going on now that people been sort of, you know, having us thinking that we've been veering off. And I want you to understand this. Okay. Well, I tell you what, we're going to have a great time. And I have shared a lot of my past because I want people to know, you know, that we all mess up and we all do wrong. It's not one alive or not one born into the world that haven't done wrong other than Jesus himself. He's the only one that was born into this world that haven't or didn't do wrong. But all of the rest of us have. And sometimes what we do, we forget where we come from a lot of times. You know, a lot of times we forget that we done things wrong. You know, whatever it is in your era, or whatever it was in your generation. You know, it might not have been drugs. You might have been born so far back that it was just alcohol. It was just homemade white liquor. You know, it wasn't drugs. But no matter what it was, it don't matter. We all have sinned and fell short of the glory of God. We all have done something wrong. So, you know, my ministry here as the pastor at Unbroken Covenant is not to beat anyone down. I love you. I understand what we all is up against, you know, because what the problem is, it's not as much as what we have done. You know, some people looking at it that way. Yeah, but it's not so much of what we have done, and it's not what we have done that make us sinners. You know, some people look at what you do and they judge you and they stereotype you and they do all kind of stuff that's wrong by looking at what you do. Well, I want to set the stage clear right now what it's all about. Well, let me tell you something. It's not about what we have done. It's not about what we are doing that make us sinners. It's not. We look at it that way. You know, people look at it that way, but that's not it. Because see, the reason I said they look at it that way, see, I've been through life. And I know how some people looked at me, and I know how they look at others. So they look at it that way, but that's not the way it is. See, that's not it. See, what the whole problem is today, and see, God had the solution for that. God is not mad at you today. God is not mad at anyone today, no matter what lifestyle you're in, or no matter what you have done. He's not mad at you today, because what the problem is, and God knows the problem. The problem is we was all, after Adam disobeyed God in the book of Genesis, which means in the beginning, after he done that, then sin entered into the world. Okay, so now that's the problem. We all was born into sin. After Adam and Eve, every single person except Jesus was born sinners. We all was, see? So now I said that to say this. Yeah. See, I'm going to make you feel better today. I'm not going to come on, and I'm, as a pastor, if I can't make you feel better, I'm not going to do anything at all. I'm not going to use the scriptures to beat you down, because guess what? We all been beat down enough. We come into the world basically beat down, you know, because of our sin nature. We come into the world as sinners. So you know what? You may not hear what you hear from me from someone else, because I have lived the life and I understand. Someone else may have went to college to learn how to preach, you know, but I have lived the life. So you're going to hear it straight from what God have shown me from the life that I live. See, so I'm here today to tell you, God loves you unconditional, no matter what you have done, no matter what you are doing. God loves you. And we're going to set the stage straight today. All righty. And I just want you to know that God really do. It don't look like it, but he loves us, and he's not mad at us. And we're going to be looking at, today, I'm going to use a lot of what I've been through, but then to let you know that I am right, we're going to use some of the Bible, just a little bit, to prove a point to some people watching that think different. Because see, you got all type of people. You got religious people, and so religious people, they're not going to agree with the truth. Now, the reason I said the religious people are not going to agree with the truth, because in Jesus' day, when he walked this earth, he told 100% truth. And the religious people, back in his day, it ain't changed. The religious people did not believe him. The religious people did not like him. So I just want you to know that. But now, the lost people, the lost, loved him. He done all good for them. He didn't condemn them. He told the woman that got caught in adultery, he said, neither do I condemn you. See, you know why? Because we was born condemned. So, you know, I said that to say this. We all have sinned and fell short of the glory of God. We all are looking for a way out. We all are looking for a way out. We don't need to beat them down. They know where, everybody know where they're at, but we are looking for a way out. Now, see, when I come up a great kid. I had great Christian parents. They took me to church. They taught me the word of God. They lived the life. See, nowadays, in this time, the reason we got atheists and the reason we got so many agnostics and people that don't care nothing about God no more is they looking at the Christian people today. See, my parents in their day, my mama walked it. She taught it to me. She walked it. Well, see, nowadays, you got them going to church now that'll cuss you out. If you cut in front of them on the road driving, they'll cuss you out. You break in front of them in the line in the grocery store, in the shopping mall or something, they might cuss you out, some of them today. See, so that's why we got people that don't believe in God. That's why we got people that don't believe in Jesus Christ, because of people that supposed to be, but when they see their conduct, when they see their actions, it make them not believe in it. Well, today I want to help you today. Jesus Christ is love. For God is love. In 1 John, in the back of the Bible, chapter 4, it said, for God is love. Then you go to 1 Corinthians 13, around verse 8, and it said, love never fail. So now, see, if we don't show love in every situation, it's not nothing that can go on that we shouldn't show love. You know, if you got a kid on drugs or something, I've been there before. I done drugs. I done drank. I done cheated on my wife. I done all kind of stuff, you know, and my wife now, she's gone on to be with the Lord. Her work is over. But I done lived life. See, that's why I understand. That's why I'm here. I love you regardless, unconditional. It don't matter. My ministry now. See, I done lived the world's way. I done drugs. I done drank. I done all of the above. You know, and guess what? That's why my ministry is where it is today, because I can understand. Now, I come up good Christian kid. Well, long story short, when I got out of high school, I got married and I walked away from all of that. And that's where the drugs come in at and the alcohol. It felt so good. You know why it felt so good? It's because we was born into sin. See, it wasn't nothing that I just really done wrong. They say, oh yeah, you done wrong and all. Well, how can someone born into sin, how can they sin and done wrong? I want you to explain that to me. How can a dog be done wrong because he born a dog? See, so, you know, when you born sinners, I ask the question sometimes, I said, what do sinners do? Well, you know, sinners sin. And you know something? That's why Almighty God, Jehovah, that's why he sent his son. Because what I'm telling you today is truth. And that's why he sent his son, because he knew that it was not one thing any of us could do about it. It was not one of us, Not one. Even down to the religious ones that's trying to condemn you, the ones that's mocking you, the ones that's criticizing you. Not even them can change without Jesus. See, it takes Jesus to change. No matter who we are, the self-righteous, they don't look at what they do. They just look at what you do. And then they condemn you of what you do. See, I'm going to help someone today. I'm going to help someone to have more faith in Jesus today, because you're going to understand a little bit more about what's going on. You're going to understand today a little bit more about what's going on. So the self-righteous, what they do, they look at you and I, and they condemn us for what we're doing, like if they was perfect. But you know what? Let me tell you something. It's not categorized. Sin is not categorized like we categorize it. You know, we categorize it to make one sin worse than the other. But see, let me tell you what Jesus think about it. With the woman that got caught in adultery, he said with her accusers, see, those self-righteous people accused her of what she done as being doing wrong. The self-righteous. Okay, but this is what he said to the self-righteous. Boy, I enjoy it. He said, you that have not sinned, cast the first stone. You get where I'm coming from now, don't you? Huh? The self-righteous thought that, oh, they had it all together and they can condemn someone else. But always remember, when you point your finger at somebody, you got three pointing back at yourself. See, God designed it that way. Way before we even knew anything about it. God designed it that way. So you know why? Because you can't point at no one else, because you just as guilty as anyone else. Without Jesus Christ, there's not one that's not guilty. So what God done, he sent his son for you and I today to help us. He sent his son that love us unconditional. He sent his son to meet us right where we were, or right where we are. He didn't say, get your act together. Jesus said, come as you are. But now we're going to show you what it's going to take today. And all these self-righteous people, see, we're going to help some people. We're going to help some people come to know Jesus today. See, we're going to help some people that want to do better, that see they can't, and they can't do better. I couldn't do any better. The man I am today is where Jesus got me. And guess what? I'm not looking back at people pointing my fingers at them. I'm not looking back at people saying that you shouldn't have done this and you shouldn't have done that. I'm not. You know what? I'm doing just what Jesus told me to do. He told me to love them. He said to love your neighbor as yourself. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, we finna show you something. I'm going to get the Bible, and I'm going to use in the Bible to show you what's going on. Because see, we are causing our children, we are causing people to be on drugs. We are causing people to stay out there in the world, and we're causing them because of the condemnation and everything that we using against them. See, the Bible said, 1 Corinthians 13, around verse 8, it said, God never fail. See, he never fail. Love never fail. And if 1 John 4 said, for God is love, it means that the reason love never fail is because God is love. And I don't care what you're doing today. I don't care where you're from today. If someone is not showing you love, it's not God. I don't care what you're doing in your life today. It's no reason. The Bible is nothing in the Bible said that anyone, that we cannot love anyone. It's nothing that someone can do that we should not love them. If you don't love today, see, that's the first great and foremost greatest commandment in the Bible, is love. Love is the first. It ain't the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth. Love is the first. And until you get love perfected, you ain't getting nowhere. When Jesus comes, you're not going with him. Self-righteous people is not going with Jesus when he comes. And I just want to help you out today, because you know what? I'm going to help someone today get to know what's going on out there. Because see, what we're doing, we're pushing people further out there. You know why? Because we think it's a reason that we should just not have nothing else to do with them. We think it's a reason that we should, well, I love them, but no, it ain't no buts to it. You either love them or you don't. And you know what love do? This is the great example of love. Romans 5:8 said, yet while we were sinners, Christ died for you and I today. He didn't say nothing. This is love. He didn't say nothing about what we had to do. We had to get it together. We had to stop, like all this stuff you hear from people out there. They making your life worse and worse and worse. They slowing down the process that God has. See, God created you in Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 and 27, he created you in his image, and he created you in his likeness, and he created you and I to worship him. Okay, that was before the fall come in. Genesis chapter 3, the fall came in. Adam disobeyed God and sin entered into the world. But realize Jesus Christ the same yesterday, the same today, and the same forever. He don't change. He didn't change when he created you in his image. You today, you and I, he created in his image. You know what that means, don't we? We are to look like him. Then he created us in his likeness. Then he created us to worship him. Now, let me tell you something. The fall did not change that. The fall did not change his love for you and I today. Now look, some of us done so bad, but his love is never failing. His love is never changing. See, he stays love. You know why? We finna show you. We finna show you what love will do. And these people out here that's criticizing and judging and making people worse and worse and worse, one day they're going to be judged. So you know what? Don't pay them no attention, because judgment coming one day. And you know what? They think they're going to hear well done, and they're going to hear I never knew you. Get away from me. Because you know something? If we don't follow Jesus, we're not going to follow love. And if you don't have that love, that agape love, that love that he had for you when you was out there doing your thing. See, that judgmental person, that self-righteous person. See, we're going to one day, they're going to stand before the Lord with that self-righteous stuff. And I'm here today to tell you, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it, because you know what? We're looking at what they do and we're trying to judge them over it instead of loving them. Love is what changes people. Love. Okay. I want to go, we're going to Luke chapter 15 today. And I want to show you exactly, I want to show you from God's word what it takes to change people. See, we need to be praying for people, and we need to be loving people. Love, the Bible said, covers a multitude of sins. See, let me tell you something. I've been through different stages of my life. I come up in the church. I walked away from the church. And now I'm teaching the Bible and pastoring. Now, let me tell you what I have seen from experience, not from a college, not from a book, but let me tell you what I done seen. Through all three stages of my life, I have not seen the love of God change any. I hadn't seen it change any. He loved me just as much when I walked away And if it's anything else, God will love you more when you walk away. And the reason I said that is because Jesus, he left the 99. He left the 99 and he went for the one that went astray. See, so if anything else, when I went astray, just like some of you have, and most of us, all of us have, but you know what? He goes after the one that goes astray. He loved the one that goes astray unconditional. He loved the one that done went astray with all of his heart. And he searched for that one that don't went astray, like you and I, like I have, you have, a lot of us have, all of us have. Guess what? He loved you so much that he don't condemn you. He goes searching for you. He searched for you with all of his heart. He searched for you with all of his love. He's not condemning you for what you've done. Don't pay people no attention because the devil is using people. He's slowing the process down of God because let me tell you something. Everything that we go through is going to get us to our purpose. What's my purpose? You say that to yourself. What's my purpose? Everything that we live through, if we just love people, everything that we live through is going to help us reach our purpose. Everything. You can't get it no other way. What's my purpose? All it takes is us loving people while God works his perfect work in their life. Because guess what? We were born into sin, all of us was. So we can't get past that. Ain't no sense in looking at nobody, condemning them for what they're doing. Because guess what? We may not do the same exact thing, but we all, according to Romans, said we all have sinned and fell short. See, we're going to help you. See, this ministry that God has called through, God is calling his people home. He's calling his people home. He's not judging you. He's not criticizing you. God is not doing anything bad to you just because of the life that you live in. I've been blessed all my life. All my life, God has been now. And you know why? This is what he said. He said, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. I'll be with you to the end. Now, let me tell you something. God don't lie and he can't die. See, so he said he'll be with you. He always remember this. He created you in his image and in his likeness. He done that before the fall. Now, you mean to tell me the fall changed God's mind? Okay, let me tell you this. He knew the fall was going to happen when he created you in his image and in his likeness and to worship him. He knew the fall was going to happen. Okay, but guess what, though? He's going to use your lifestyle. He's going to use sin. See, sin, the enemy caused sin to come into the world when he lied to Adam and Eve in the garden and they went for it. So that's what caused sin to come into the world. So now, you know what? God's going to use that. He's going to use sin. He's using the devil, sin, and all to bring you to your purpose. Good God Almighty. I'm telling you now, I feel so good. You didn't know that. People accusing you of what you're doing wrong and you were born a sinner. People condemning you of what you're doing and you just, what else do you know without Jesus? See, that's why Jesus said he is the way, the truth, and the life. That's why he said that. He is the way. This all been orchestrated by God. Everything God allowed to happen, he using all of it to bring his people home. Watch this. Watch this. We're going to use Luke chapter 15. When we talk about loss, this past Friday, we done a Bible study on the parable of the lost sheep, and we tied that in with the parable of the lost coin, and then we tied Luke chapter 15, the prodigal son. We tied those three in together Friday on Bread for Life, and it was powerful. I hope you was there and watched it. If not, you need to go back and watch it. Okay, now we're finna get started. We're gonna show you biblically that the self-righteous, that's why so many people are messed up today, because of the self-righteous people out there that think they better than somebody else because they hadn't done something that somebody else had done. So that make them think that they're so much better. But let me tell you something, that's not politically correct. That's wrong. We all have sinned. There's not one of us better than the other. I'm going to tell you this and we're going to get started. Let me tell you this. No matter where you at today, no matter what walk of life you're in today, it don't really matter. God loves you just as much as he loved me. He don't love me more because he called me the pastor. He don't love me more than you. God is not a respecter of person. Man does that. They'll love one over the other. They'll give one a better promotion over the other. That's what man will do. That's what mankind will do. But God is not like that. His promises in the Bible is yes and amen for all of us. You just got to know it and tap into it. That's where I come in at, to let you know your birthright, to let you know that what's yours and what belongs to you. See, God don't hide or keep anything from his people. He don't. And that's where I come in at. Now watch this. We're getting started. We finna show you biblically what I'm talking about. Because you know what? The self-righteous out there judging me right now. But I don't care. It don't matter to me, because you know what? Who should I obey? Man or God? Who should I obey? Who should I try to please? I'm going to please God. And if I please God, I'm going to love you no matter where you at in your life, no matter what you done in your life. I'm going to help you. If I can help you, I'm going to help you no matter what, because I'm going to please God. That's what Jesus done. Jesus didn't criticize the people. He helped them. He loved them. He died for you and I today. Now, if that's the ultimate love right there, that he died, he laid down his life, and he didn't have to do that. But you know what? You know why he done it? He loved you and I so much. No matter what, he knew what we were going to do. He knew the drugs I was going to use. He knew the alcohol I was going to drink. He knew about all that stuff that I'd done. He knew about it before I'd done it. But did that stop his love for me? No, it didn't. Like we said, when I went off that way, it magnified his love for me. When you went the way you went, it magnified his love for you. Listen to verse 12 of Luke chapter 15. And the younger of them said to his father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. In other words, he divided to him his estate. Okay, now, one thing about that is that your inheritance from your father, from your parents, you don't get it until they are gone, dead and gone. So you know what? The father could have brought up something to argue about. Well, I ain't going to give it to you. You can't have it till I'm gone, or whatever the case may be. The Father could have done that, just like Almighty God. When you and I want out, when you and I want it, we want our part. Watch what the next verse says. 13. And not many days after the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. See, you see what sin will do? You see what sin will do. This is the younger son in Luke chapter 15. You see what sin will do? So now if God mad about sin, then you know what? Ain't all of us been dead. It wouldn't even be nobody on the earth. Because that's something that we're not going to get past. But now watch what it's going to take for your purpose. What's my purpose today? See, your purpose, pay attention to this. I'm going to show you what it's going to take to get to your purpose. Because you know what? Everybody else, the self-righteous condemning you. They looking at you and they talking about you. The self-righteous is. But I'm going to show you what it's going to take to get to your purpose. Because all of us want to know, what is our purpose? How do we get to our purpose? Watch this. And not many days after the younger gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. See, we all done that. We done went off. We got away from our mother and father's house. And at one time, our mother and father done the same thing at one time. So they learned from it. Now they teach you. Once you train up a child in the way they should go, that's the command from the Bible, Proverbs 22:6. Once you train up a child in the way they should go, once you do that, and then once they get grown, you have to do like the father done him. You got to do this. Watch this. You got to give him his portion. You can't fight with him. Once he get grown, he can leave home if he want to. Ain't nothing we can do about that. So you know what? That love that we say that works and never fail, the only way that love is when you understand, when you give them their portion. Don't fight with them and tell them I ain't giving you this and I ain't giving you, no, that ain't love. Watch what the Father, watch what our Father. We can look at it that way. Watch what he do when we want to get out, when we want to leave and go off into a far country and party up and have a good time. Yeah. Watch this. Verse 14. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in need. He began to be in want. Would you see? Now, you look at what the father done. He give him his portion, and the boy gathered everything together the next day, and he headed out to a far country. He headed out. But his father give it to him. See, what we do today, we get in a big fight and cuss them out. And we supposed to be Christians and brought them up in the church. Now that's mixed signals. Now they don't understand. They thinking all this is just a fake now because we going to show our butt when that time. But what did the father do? He didn't show his butt. He didn't do all of that. He gave him his part. That's love right there. Now watch what love going to do though. Watch what love going to do. Now he went out there with riotous living, and he got into a big famine in the land, and he got into need. He got into want. So in other words, he done blowed everything. Drinking or whatever they were doing back there in that day. I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing something. Well, he done blowed everything he had. We all do that. We all have done that. And sometimes we, as parents, we get all blowed up about it and not realizing that we were born into sin. That's what sinners do. But let me tell you what God is doing. What's my purpose? Watch what God doing. He's using what the devil done in the garden. He's using sin, and he's using the enemy to bring your purpose about. See, so don't get blowed up into what you done and what you done been into, because guess what? Those drugs that you get into that may make you look rough and may do you bad and it may do it. Let me tell you what, Jesus can make all things new. When you turn to him, he'll make all things new. He'll make all things new. See, because he know all this gonna go on before it go on. Huh? Verse 15. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country. And he sent him into the field to feed swine. Look, after he done blowed all of his inheritance on riotous living, we all done something. We all done it, got on drugs, alcohol, whatever, and got out there and blew and got in want. See, because God is he's using sin. He's using sin because we all into it. We can't get out of it. So he's using you right where you are. And he's using you in the midst of what you're doing. He's using that to bring about your purpose. See, so that's why the Father gave him so much love in that.
You are faithful, faithful through all things. You are faithful, faithful through all things. You are with us, we are not alone. You remind us to hold on to hope. When we